we doing, guys? It's Friday night again. Welcome to another Friday Waffle. Whew, it's actually quite late. What time is it? It's 11:05. My mate Neil, who you've all met before, he's joined me in several me and Meister and Chums talk pish. Neil was up and we were going to record a live waffle, but I couldn't be arsed. So I said to Neil, I'll do one later on. So anyway, yeah, it's the weekend, thankfully. Weather's just kind of back to normal. When we had an absolutely awesome weekend last weekend, weather-wise. It was like, I don't know what it was. It was like 25 degrees, maybe not quite as hot as that, but it's just back to normal again. Back to wind, rain, and just quite cold. I was out walking the dogs earlier on again, and it's just back to normal. And I see the forecast for tomorrow is the usual shite. So anyway, I hope you're all good. It's been a quick week. It's obviously been a short week because we were all, certainly up here in Scotland, we were all on Easter holidays. I was off on Friday and I was off on Saturday. Not Saturday. I was off on Friday and I was also off on Monday. If you watch my channel on a regular basis, you may have seen the Insomnia video which I put out. Insomnia is a video. If you didn't watch it, Insomnia is a video games not exhibition. What is it called? It is an exhibition thing, show, call it what you will. Down in Birmingham at the NEC, and it's effectively. It's just stall after stall of vendors trying to sell you hardware and games and what have you. There are a few systems you can obviously play, but in the main it's just stalls to buy stuff, and it kind of got me thinking how cheeky it is that you're having to pay 26 quid so you can go in and look at stuff to buy. You know, it doesn't give you anything back. But you know what, my daughter enjoyed it. You know, it's family time for me. You know, this is about the fourth or fifth one we've been to, I think. I always enjoy going down with her. Although this time I say she was with her pal, so she was kind of doing her own thing. But yeah, would I go back? If it was down to me, I wouldn't go back. But you know, if Eva enjoys it, then I will go back next year, because like I said, it's a thing that we kind of do as a daughter and dad thing, so that's always quite good. What else? YouTube. In particular, a certain Commodore 64 game which was released, was it last week or the week before? Super Mario Brothers. Now again, if you've not seen my video and you've not been watching any YouTube videos, you may not be aware that this, I was going to say a hacker, this homebrew person programmed Super Mario Brothers for the Commodore 64. Now apparently the guy's been working on it for the last 7 years, and the game was finally released last week. Now I got the heads up on this, a couple of people had mentioned it on YouTube. Lawn Boys Post 1975, Dave had done his own video about it. So I downloaded it, I managed to find it, and got to say, super impressed. I mean, you know, I don't know how the Commodore 64 stacks up as far as hardware goes. You know, how does it stack up against the NES? According to some comments I've read, the NES has got a faster processor, it's got more colours. It's a far superior bit of hardware, maybe not in the sound side of things, but the fact that this guy has got the game running on a bog standard Commodore 64 is very, very impressive. So what I did was, I recorded myself playing the Commodore 64 one, then I played it back. So whilst I was playing it back, I then played the NES one, and I was trying to sort of copy the movement, what I was doing on the NES one against the C64 one. What I was trying to do is basically get the same game, looking the same, running the same, so you could do a kind of direct comparison. So I put that video out on whatever day it was. Was it Monday, Tuesday last week? I think. Yeah, this week I think it was. And it's mental. I'm up to like 1,300 views, which for my channel is a lot. You know, generally my videos don't get any more than about maybe 160 views. After maybe a few years they'll kind of rise, but this one's 1,300 views, and it just made me realise that if you're in this YouTube thing, you want to get big numbers, then you've got to try and be. You've got to make games all about Super Mario Brothers, or games that are really well known, and you'll get big numbers. But that's not me, when I compare, like, for example, a Friday Waffle. I mean, I noticed my Friday Waffles, because of the type of thing it is, people who don't know what I'm about will have no idea what the Friday Waffle is, because I don't say anything about it other than the Friday Waffle, and I put the date, and I will usually put a little comment like more bollocks from your resident Scotch person. So people who don't follow my channel on a regular basis will have no idea what the Friday Waffle is. So it's no wonder that I don't get high views on the waffle. I think the people that do watch it are probably the people. They're my regulars. You guys are the regular people, Out of all the videos that I make, although the Friday Waffle doesn't get particularly high ratings or views, it's the one video that people seem to enjoy, because, like I says, it's people watch it, they begin to expect it. It's not a Friday until they've watched the Friday Waffle. Some people watch this when they're having their breakfast the following morning, which is all good. But the point I'm trying to make is, my Friday Waffles will maybe get about 170 views. This Super Mario Brothers video has got 1,300 views. So, if you want to create a channel and get big numbers, then you need to do things like Call of Duty or Fortnite. I would guarantee if I made a video of me playing Fortnite, it would get high views. In fact, I'm tempted, just purely to put this to the test, I'm tempted to actually do something like that. I'll maybe just point the camera at the TV and I'll play Fortnite. I'll call it, I don't know, is Fortnite bollocks or not? Something like that. Just purely as an experiment to see how many views it gets, because I would almost guarantee that it will get 10 times the views that a video that I put out playing, I don't know, Chucky Egg is going to get, But again, you've got to, the reason I would never, sell myself to the dark side and start recording videos playing things like Fortnite is because I'm not interested in that. I make this channel, I do it because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy talking about video games. I enjoy playing old games. I enjoy playing games that nobody's heard of. That's what I am. And if I was to start recording, live streams of me playing the latest FIFA game, that's not what I'm about. I will never ever do that. But I might do that. I might, just for a laugh, just to put my theory to the I can't even speak properly because I'm so tired. Just to put my theory to the test, I may record a, I don't know, what can I call it? Old bloke discovering Fortnite, something like that. I don't know, and just out of curiosity, see how many views it gets. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of been that. This week, what have I been doing? I've been playing some more of the MAME cab. I was playing Frogger tonight, actually. I love the pick-up, well, not quite literally the pick-up and play aspect of the MAME cab, but what I'll do is when I come home from work and I'm making my dinner, I'll switch the MAME cab on, and when I'm waiting for the oven to heat up or waiting for my lasagna to cook, I'll just have a quick game of something. It's been really good. Yeah, that's kind of been it. Next Tuesday, one of my mates at the computer club, he's kind of hosting a few of us, so we're going to his house next Tuesday for some video games. And he's got an original, is it Star Trek: The Next Generation pinball table? I think it is. He bought one recently, so I'm looking forward to playing that. Actually, when I was down at that event on whatever day it was last weekend, I was playing, I did include a short video of me playing the ACDC pin table, and I've got, what's it called? Is it arcade pinball? I think it's called arcade pinball on the PC, and I've got quite a few tables, and I was playing that last week actually, or this week I should say. It's actually quite enjoyable. Can't see myself ever buying a pin table right enough, because I know they are stupidly expensive. But so yeah, listen, I'm just wittering on a wee bit. It's getting late. You can probably tell. Look at the bags under my eyes. I'm quite tired. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to jump into my questions, and I think there's a few questions from from last week. Where are we? Right. Ian Hunter is saying, "Hi Alan, apologies for the lack of questions. Just a quick comment wishing you well. Keep up the good work, mate." Thank you very much, Ian. Always appreciate all your wonderful support. Mark, I should say, Lactobacillus Prime. I don't mind the bright yellow t-shirt. For some reason, the footage is in black and white. Yeah, I always record these in black and white because it hides blotches on my face, and it probably hides bags under my eyes a wee bit. Scott Brian, question for next waffle. What was your favourite homebrew or original game on the Atari 2600 VCS? Now, I never owned an Atari. I do have one now, but a very... Oh, you shut up. I've just managed to... Bugger off. I've managed to start somebody else's video by accident. How did that happen? I don't know how that happened. How did I get out of this? Here's my Friday Waffle going. Sorry guys, just bear with me. My channel. Friday Waffle, there we go. Yeah, the oldie gamers. Right, shut up, Alan. Aye, Atari 2600. I always wanted one. I mean, from my mate had one. He gave me a loan for one day. I managed to get him to leave it with me for one night, and at that point I knew video games was something I wanted to do. The Atari 2600 was £99.99. Now back in 1978, I think it was 79. It was just something that I would never ever own. I mean, I used to tell my mum and dad I would love an Atari, but they told me point blank, "You're not going to get one. We can't afford it." And I knew that. I knew I'd never ever get one. So I never ever had any. Apart from that brief foray into playing my mate's one, I've never had any experience of playing an Atari, so I don't have any nostalgia for it. I don't even know. In fact, there's only 2 homebrew games that I've actually played in it, and that's since I've kind of bought one maybe about 2-3 years ago. One game which is amazing, it's Juno First. Now, I can't remember. I'm sure the guy that actually programs it does watch my channel. At least he used to quite a long time ago. If you're still watching my channel, young sir, please comment below. But yeah, this guy wrote Juno First for the Atari 2600. Now, I did do a video of it, I'm sure. Yeah, I did do it. It's an amazing port. Now, if you've never heard of Juno First, go and check it out. Juno First is one of these. It's highly underrated shoot-em-ups. I kind of think it reminds me of Defender, but vertical. Imagine vertical Defender. It's got the same, this thing keeps going to sleep all the time, I need to correct that. Yeah, it's a vertical shoot-em-up. It's got the most amazing sound, it's got great visuals. It's one of these shoot-em-ups you really get into the zone when you're playing it. It's an awesome game. I'd never heard of it until I got MAME. But yeah, this guy has programmed a version of the Atari 2600, and it's an amazing game. Really, you wouldn't think that the Atari was capable of doing this. Awesome. Definitely go and check it out. But my favourite homebrew game has got to be The Wicked Father. Now, I am biased. It was programmed by my mate who goes by Juno First. That's his name on the interwebs. Jamie. He programmed that. When did he program it? I reckon probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Now, the idea behind the game is you play the part of a father who has, I think you've actually murdered your kids. Bear with me. Now, the idea of the game is you start off in the basement and there's a flood, and basically the water level is rising continually, and you've got to try and escape the water before you drown. It's got a great game mechanic. Think of Joust. You've got to press the fire button, but it's not a question of hammering the fire button really fast. You've got to kind of pulse it. You've got to kind of time your, pressing it. And when you pulse the fire button, the wicked father swims, and the idea is to basically get out, escape. I don't know if you're in a house or not, but you've basically got to escape the mansion. The water level is constantly rising, so that is a great game. If you've never played it, again, I have got a video of it, but it's called The Wicked Father. I keep saying it was a Wicked Stepfather, but it's just called The Wicked Father. It's completely free to download. Just go into Google, type it in Wicked Father Atari 2600 and you'll find it there. Jamie did some really, really nice sort of visual effects with it. He's got a really good musical track to it. Now, Jamie, apart from being a very, very talented programmer, he's also a dab hand when it comes to making music. In fact, he was one of the guys that put one of the tracks for Lamasoft's TXK, which was basically Tempest for the PS Vita. It's got a stonking soundtrack. Now, Jamie was one of the guys, because basically Jeff Minter asked in his forum, would anybody like to contribute music to this game, and Jamie put forward his own piece, and he actually won an award about maybe 3-4 years ago for this particular track that he'd done. It's amazing. But yeah, go and check it out. It's called The Wicked Father, and it is for the Atari 2600. So I'm going to go for that as my favourite homebrew game. Thanks for the question, Scott. Let's have a look. Panther UK, Chris, top waffling as usual, mate. So, Super Mario Brothers on the C64. If you've had a look, what are your thoughts? If you make a video about it before the next waffle, then that will bollocks up that question. Apologies, Chris, but it was hard to kind of miss. And when I saw the game, when I was made aware of it, I thought I need to get a video out there. I wanted to try it. What did I think of it? Got to say, I was super impressed. Like everybody else, I was super impressed. Obviously, the actual graphics do look very, very similar. I don't know what the resolution is of the Commodore 64 in comparison to the NES. The NES has obviously got more colours, I think. Sound-wise, I don't think you could actually tell the difference. It is absolutely spot on. Excuse me. Obviously, the controls are a bit different because on the NES, you've got two buttons. You've got jump and you've got run, or is it fire, whatever it is. You've got two fire buttons. On the Commodore 64, you've only got the one button. To jump, you have to press up. So it's not as good control-wise. But, it's an amazing conversion. There is a bit of slowdown. Now, I was playing it on an emulator. I don't know, does anybody know why you would get slowdown on a Commodore 64 platform game? There's some wonderful platform games out there for the C64, and you don't really expect slowdown, so I don't know why that is. It seemed to be when there was more than 2 or 3 characters on screen, there is a bit of slowdown. But apart from that, I would almost say it's almost a perfect copy of the NES game. Mega impressive, and I really love the fact that they bring out all these games for old systems. It just shows you that just what these systems were capable of. I mean, myself, or like a lot of other people, think to myself, well, why didn't we make this game back in 1985? But the thing is, from what I gather, and I am like a complete numpty when it comes to programming. I can't program for toffee. I'm not technical in the slightest. Um, Nowadays, you've got far better tools for programming. I mean, I wouldn't imagine that anybody that writes a homebrew game on the Commodore 64 now, I don't think you would use a real Commodore 64. You're going to use a PC. Do you use an emulator? I don't know. I don't know how it works. But there are so many more tools available now. There's so many more tricks and probably program routines. I would imagine it's a lot, I wouldn't say it's easier, but I think it's allowed programmers now, to produce games that just weren't possible. They weren't really possible back in 1985, just because back then you were using a Commodore 64. Although it's still using the same hardware, I think having the tools, it's like anything in life, if you've got the correct tools, it will make a job easier. And the fact that you have got more tools available now, plus you've got the wonder of Google. There's YouTube videos, there's lots of information out there telling you how to do stuff, whereas back then it was basically left to the individual sitting in their bedroom coding. So technically, I suppose, I don't know, technically I would imagine Super Mario Brothers could have been written back then, but they just didn't have the knowledge for it. But if you haven't played the game, go and check it out. I do know that Nintendo have brought the game down. In fact, one of my long-term subscribers, Andy, or Jamie Williamson as he was known previously, I was kind of defending Nintendo, with them taking the game down, and Andy was disagreeing. He felt that Nintendo had just been knobs. I don't really know so much. I mean, if you're to be completely logical, you would say, well, wait a minute, is the fact that this game exists on the Commodore 64, is that going to impact on people not spending money, on the Switch, Nintendo store, whatever? I wouldn't think that would be the case. If I was wanting to play Super Mario Brothers, I would play it on the C64 as a novelty, but I would always want to play it on the proper hardware, and I think that's the case with everybody. I couldn't imagine the fact that the C64 one exists is going to affect Nintendo's making money. But I do understand that Nintendo have got to protect their intellectual property. When I say protect, I don't mean stop, other people using it. But like any other company, Nintendo are no different from any other company. What Nintendo don't want is for somebody to play the Commodore 64 version of Super Mario Brothers and then say, oh, wait a minute, I was going to buy this on the Switch, but look, the graphics slow down, I'm not going to bother. It's the same way some of these, was it Lotus Turbo Challenge on the Amiga, or you drive a Ferrari, whatever, you're not allowed to damage, like, was it Ferrari didn't want the game to allow you to damage the car, or was it Jaguar XJ220, I think it was, which came out just after Lotus. They didn't want they didn't want to give you the ability to damage their car, because they somehow thought that was going to affect people thinking, well, this Jaguars must be rubbish because look, they dent easy, they get damaged easily. So I'm not making a very good job explaining this, am I? It's because I'm getting tired. What I'm trying to say is, Nintendo would not want somebody to look at the Commodore 64 version of Super Mario Brothers and think, oh, this game's shit because look, the colours are crap, it's only got one fire button, and then decide, well, no, don't buy that Switch because the games aren't very good. I'm not saying that I agree with Nintendo doing what they're doing. I understand why they've done what they've done. If it was myself, if I had written a game and then somebody came along and produced the exact game on another system, you need to remember Super Mario Brothers. Mario makes a lot of money for Nintendo. He's probably their biggest cash cow. So it is understandable why they would want to protect that. But are they going to lose any money with allowing this game to exist? Probably not. So yeah, I do understand why people think that Nintendo are being. Now I'm not going to swear because I noticed I swore in last week's waffle, and it said that it may not be available in some countries. So I'm going to try and not swear if possible. Yeah, but I do understand why Nintendo have done what they've done. Is it a bit harsh? Possibly. The thing is, the guy that programmed it, he would have been fully aware that it was going to get pulled because that's what Nintendo do. That's why MU Paradise doesn't exist. All the ROMs are gone because of Nintendo, because Nintendo, they use the same IPs. You've got your Donkey Kong, you've got your Zeldas, you've got your Marios. It's the same games. I was going to say F-Zero. There's not been an F-Zero game for a long time, but Pilot Wings. They use the same games over and over and over again. The same graphics, the same characters. So although to people like ourselves thinking, wait a minute, Super Mario Brothers is like 30 years old, why are Nintendo bothering? Well, Super Mario Brothers will no doubt come out for the next machine. I mean, I dare say you can download it for the Switch. So they've stopped this guy. They've pulled this game because they don't want it to affect future sales. That's the way it is. At the end of the day, it's Nintendo's property. Whether you agree with what they've done is really neither here nor there. They've done it. But yeah, the guy would have known now. He didn't make any effort to try and hide it. He didn't call it something else. He's tried to do is he's tried to make a perfect copy, probably just to show that it can be done. And he's achieved that. I mean, I don't know if every level's there. I'm assuming it is. The thing is, although Nintendo have pulled the game from a lot of shelves. Oh, bugger, I keep... Hang on a second. Stop. I don't want that to affect my videos. I just keep touching the screen by accident. I think the guy's done it just to prove it can be done. If he'd wanted the game to maybe have gone under the radar, he could have called it something else. He could have changed the graphics, but he's not done that. He's gone all out to try and make it look identical. He's even got by Nintendo, and see, I think that's where the fact that he's done that, he's shown the game has been released by Nintendo. Nintendo will be looking and thinking, well, wait a minute, somebody could look at this and think this game was programmed by Nintendo, because that's what the game says. So I do kind of understand where they're coming from. I know it is a bit harsh, but hey ho. Anyway, right, let's get back in. How are we doing for time? 28 minutes. Friday Waffle. Let me just jump back in.
Steve,
right, shut up, Alan. But as far as what I think of the game, excellent. Hang on, where have I gone? Have I missed? Sorry, right, I completely missed out a question here. Let's see, this is from Batman. I think my last subject from a few weeks ago slipped through the cracks of various waffles, so I thought I'd use it again in true retro fashion. I mentioned that I was on a big Atari 2600 trip, having recently bought the Woody version. I've had a Junior for ages. I just wanted to canvass your opinion on it and wonder what your favourite games for it are, plus any you may care to recommend. I also added the handheld Atari flashback with SD card, So I downloaded the entire library of that too. Have you played one of those? If so, what are your thoughts? Again, just what I was saying there, but I don't have a real affinity to the Atari 2600 because I never owned one back in the day. I never got to play one back in the day. And let's be honest, it's not dated particularly well. I mean, the games are very, very, very basic. So I don't have any nostalgia for the system itself. I mean, I do have one. I've got the Woody one. I think I've also got the junior one, which you mentioned there as well. I have possibly, I don't know, maybe about 20 games for it. I've not played many games in it, because I never owned one. I've never become familiar with them. The games that I do remember playing, because my mate, and I'm talking utter bollocks about only playing it once. I had another mate who had one, and I actually borrowed it for a couple of days. And one game that I really enjoyed, and it's basic as basic could possibly be, and it's a Venture, or is it Adventure? Adventure is called. You apparently play the part of an archer, but it actually looks like a little dragon. And it's a very, very basic adventure game. I mean, for a lot of the game, this keeps going to sleep. For a lot of the game, you're only controlling a little dot. But I remember getting really deeply involved in it, and I loved it. Really enjoyed that. The only other games that I do remember, I played Combat. I says when I borrowed my mate Nick's, I had it overnight. The only two games that he had was Combat and Pac-Man. Combat was good fun, but the problem with Combat, which I didn't realise until recently, it was only two players. You couldn't play single player. But Pac-Man, we played that a lot, and when I say we played it a lot, we played it a lot over the 2 days that I kind of had a shot of it. People talk about Pac-Man as being one of the worst games ever, which I completely disagree with. People pan the game, silly. They say it's a terrible, terrible game. When you actually play it, it's not a bad game at all. I've got a lot of nostalgia for it, and because of that, I enjoy playing it. When I play it, the sound, the flickery graphics, it just takes me right back to being in my living room back in 1978, whatever it is. And I actually think it does play quite a good game of Pac-Man. I mean, apparently the guy he was given just like a couple of days to program it, you know what I mean? So, I mean, there are newer versions of the game out where it's like the sprites, well, not the sprites, the ghosts don't flicker. I mean, I know they're meant to flicker when you eat a power pill, but in this game they flicker all the time. But I love Pac-Man. Like I said, it was one of the first games, apart from the Binatone TV game system that I had, borrowing my mate Nick's 2600. It was the first home system. Getting to play Pac-Man on my TV, it's hard to explain just how amazing that was. It was incredible. I mean, the Binatone TV game Pong, even back then, I thought was pretty boring. You couldn't play. There was no one-player option apart from squash, which was mega dull. But when I got to play Pac-Man, it just opened my eyes to this new wonder. Here was a TV which I could interact with. The things on the TV, I could move. I was influencing what happened on the TV. And so really, I would probably say I have got Pac-Man. Atari 2600 Pac-Man was probably the game that made me fall in love with video games. And it's probably the reason why I'm still sitting here talking to you, 35 years later. So I'll always love Pac-Man. So anyway, listen, thanks for your question, buddy. You're asking about the Atari Flashback. Is that the one that's like the wee Woody console? It's quite long and narrow. My mate, not Neil, my mate Ian's got one. I did have a shot of it. Now, like a lot of these things, hardware-wise, they're really, really nice. But what puts me off buying them is the game choices are usually pretty crap. Although you're saying there you can actually add them on. I have had a brief shot of it. If it's the one you're talking about, I have had a very brief shot of it. It's very nice, but I have got so many handhelds that I can play Atari 2600 games in it. I've got my GPD-XD, I've got my Nvidia Shield Portable, I've got loads of other systems that I can use. I've got it on my Samsung tablet as well. Yeah, anyway, listen back. Thanks for the question, mate. And Scott, we were talking about favourite controllers or what systems I don't like, and I was mentioning the N64. And part of the reason I don't like the N64 is the controller. I'm not a fan of it. Now, Scott is agreeing with me. He says the controller that turns me off the most. He hates that thing. Yeah, I just felt that the N64 controller is quite fragile, the wee analog stick. It feels like something that could snap, but anyway, let's see. Lacosa sequels that are better than the first. Superman 2, Magnum Force, From Russia with Love. Anyone who says Aliens and or Terminator 2 should be shot. Totally agree with you. I think Aliens and Terminator are proof, and Jaws as well, they're proof that less is better. In Aliens you don't really get to see much of the alien. And Jaws is obviously the same, and is Terminator, but the original films, I says, is very, it's more about creating atmosphere, whereas the sequels to these films, you got to see the baddies a lot more, and same with like Aliens, you got to see them a lot more, and when you can see them, then you don't have the same kind of fear from them. It was, somebody was asking me about what, is there any sequels that are better than the originals, and I couldn't think of very many. Mo Nassar, nice to see you in your Sinead style video, talking about my grey video with my Sinead O'Connor. My question is more of a plea. Can you do a video about how to set up a MAME arcade in your home? Would love to hear you do a step by step in the whole thing. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. I've got my own. I've got my MAME cab which I use. You're wanting me to do a step by step. I'll be honest with you. I don't have anything that I could really show you. I could show you the software that I use in that thing, but I don't know if that's what you're wanting. Let me know if it is. The reason I probably wouldn't make a video like that is because A, I'm not particularly technical, B, I'm not particularly good at explaining these things, and most importantly, there are absolute stacks of wonderful videos already on YouTube which already do exactly what you're looking for, and they're going to do the job much better than I could do. So that's why I tend not to kind of make videos like that. I have done the occasional one. I did do a video charting my sort of a little MAME cab build. What to do is I'll see if I can post a link to it down below, but basically I posted a series of videos me building my little MAME cab. But I'm not particularly good at these because I'm not technical at all, so I'm not really the best person to make videos like that. But like I says, there are a ton of videos much better than I could ever do already out there, so it might be worthwhile going and having a wee look for that. Right, and lastly, is this lastly? I think it is, or maybe not, hang on. And it's my mate Kevin down the rabbit hole. Hi Alan, I have some questions about modern consoles, but I'm going to relate them to old consoles. First of all, I admit the news about the PlayStation 5 does not interest me, or at least it didn't until I heard it might be fully backwards compatible with all previous PlayStations, and now I might be tempted. How about yourself? I wasn't aware of that, Kevin, and that would possibly be the reason why I would probably buy one. If I could play all my games on a PlayStation 5, then that would pique my interest, definitely. I have said on quite a few occasions that I can't see me being an early adopter of the new consoles because I don't really play new consoles all that often, and it would be a complete waste of money if I did jump in and buy it. But if I could play my PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, I don't even have a PlayStation 3 set up because I've not got the room for it. But if I could play all these games, PlayStation 4, on a PS5, then I would probably definitely buy one. Definitely. Secondly, Microsoft are going to release a stripped down Xbox One without a disc drive in it. And I'm curious if you have ever bought a console that's had these features removed, like the Red Wii that didn't have the GameCube support, or the PSP 3000 missing mobile network, or the Game Boy Micro that couldn't play original Game Boy cartridges. That's what you tend to find is companies bring out the original console. Then when sales start to kind of falter, they'll bring out a smaller version. Then when sales start to falter again, they'll bring out one that's got less features. Now the one that springs to mind, which I've never really got, although a few people I know have got them and they say they're excellent, is the, what's it called, the Nintendo 3DS, but it's not, what's it called, Nintendo DS 2? 3DS 2? I can't remember. It's a 3DS, but it's not a clamshell. It doesn't do 3D. It's purely the two screens. I've never really understood why you'd want to buy that, because, I don't know. Saying that, I've got the 3DS and I very, very rarely play it in 3D mode. A, it drains the batteries quicker, and B, I find after a while my eyes they don't get sore, but it's almost like my brain stops seeing things in 3D, so that's why if I am playing the 3DS, which I don't do very often, surprise, surprise, I generally turn the 3D off. So I suppose I can understand why they've done that. But apart from that one, Kevin, I do have the Game Boy Micro. I wasn't aware that you couldn't play Game Boy games in it. You know what? There's a big chunk of people that will slate companies not making their consoles backwards compatible. They'll say, "Oh, that's terrible. Why can't I play the PlayStation 3 games on the PlayStation 4, or why can the PlayStation 1 games not work in the PS3?" Now, for people like myself, or people like you who's watching this video, we enjoy playing games, whether it's old games, whether it's new games. So we've got a vested interest in wanting to be able to play all these old games. But you need to try and understand that the biggest chunk of the market they're aiming for, the people in their 20s, people who are in their 20s now, they would probably be aware of the PlayStation, and they would be aware of the PlayStation 2. But I would say that most of these people have got no interest in playing the PlayStation. They don't want to play. Why would they want to play a game that's 25 years old? Now, I'm the first one to say that I don't think the PlayStation has aged particularly well. You play a game now, especially a 3D game like Tomb Raider, it looks goddamn awful. Play Resident Evil, it looks terrible. Again, you've got the nostalgia part of it. But for people my daughter's age, she's got no nostalgia for these older systems, and she has got no interest, absolutely no interest at all, in playing a PlayStation 1, a PlayStation 2 game and a cutting edge machine. Most people that buy these brand new systems, they want to play the latest games. They're not interested in being able to play, old games. And so I can understand why companies are reluctant to spend money putting extra chips in. I'm sure it's not, I think people like myself and other people just assume because it's more powerful, it should automatically play older games. If that's the case, then why don't we just bring out a single system that we can all play rather than have different systems? So, for Sony to make the PlayStation 5 compatible with all the previous incarnations, I'm assuming it's going to require some extra hardware. So that's going to put the price up. They've got to offset that. They've got to think, right, to make it backwards compatible, we're going to have to put in this chip or that chip, and it's going to add on an extra 50 quid to the price. they've got to think to themselves, what percentage of their customer base wants to be able to play old games? And you'll probably find that's very, very small. Maybe some people, like my daughter or other people, would want to be able to play PlayStation 4 games so they can sell their PS4 and buy a PS5, but as far as playing older systems, I think that part of the marketplace is too small, and I think that is the reason why companies don't make them backwards compatible. But you know what? If the PlayStation 5 is backwards compatible with all the previous PlayStations, I will be all over that. Like a rash, as they say. Finally, back in the 90s, it seems that Nintendo was far more beloved than Sony here in North America, yet in the UK it was the other way around, and I'm wondering if you agree, and what would you guess was the Japanese fan preference back then? I don't know, I mean, Nintendo have got their fan base, absolutely do, they have their fan base, but Nintendo have never really been the platform that your hardcore gamer would go for. You know, your 25-year-old guy, he's much more going to jump in and get himself a PlayStation 4. You know, I think a lot of people think of Nintendo, you think of fluffy characters like Yoshi and Mario and Princess Peach. You think of them as child games, and in many cases the games are they're targeted. I think we could definitely say this, that Nintendo do target their games at a younger market. But the thing is, they make the games that they bring out are so well polished. They're really, really good fun to play. You know, I'm a massive Nintendo fan. But there's a big chunk of people out there that don't that look down their nose at Nintendo. They dismiss Nintendo games. But I always maintain, if you've never played a Nintendo game, don't knock it until you've played it. You know, but now I think in the UK, I mean, when the PlayStation came along, it completely swallowed the market. Obviously, Sega had their Sega Saturn as well, and then obviously Microsoft came along with the Xbox. But yeah, Sony definitely stole the market. I mean, I think the N64 was classed. Did that finish up in third place or fourth place? I mean, you had the PlayStation. Oh no, I tell a lie. Sorry, the Xbox. You had the PlayStation, the Saturn, and the N64. Then when the PlayStation 2 came out, you had the Sega Dreamcast, you had the GameCube, and then Microsoft jumped in with the Xbox. But yeah, I would say that Sony definitely were more popular than Nintendo. I mean, Nintendo have got their core market, they've got their fan base. But I would say in the UK, Sony were definitely the biggest bit of pie, without a doubt. Japan, I believe, have always been more Nintendo. I think. And it's the same with, like, I don't think the PlayStation was that massive in Japan. I think the Sega Saturn, did that have a bigger fan base in Japan? I think that was the case. But but certainly in the UK, Kevin, I would say Sony had the biggest chunk of the market, without a doubt. Anyway, Kev, listen, mate, thanks again for all your questions. Wee Bob, great waffle, and hope you enjoyed the event. Question for next week: do you have gaming keyrings or a Darth Vader shaped watch? I don't actually. I'm not. It's funny how I don't. Although I'm a big retro fan, I generally don't have any. I don't have any real. I do, in fact. What I do have, I think it's. I don't know where it is. I've got a Dizzy magnet which I got when I bought one of Chris Wilkins's book. I do have a Berserk mug which I don't use. I've got that on a shelf, and I've also got a Game Boy mug which again I don't use. I've got that sitting on a shelf. I had a Hero Turtles watch when I was 12. Loved the Turtles, sad I know. Question 2. When you're doing the park run or similar, do you think you could make a game out of it? Like 100 points for chasing pigeons. A park run game. I suppose you could. I suppose technically you could. I mean, you're saying here any real life things you do that you would turn into a game. Apart from playing video games, obviously that would make an ideal game. Running. Would running make, ultra running, would that make a good video game? Apart from being a joystick waggler, which would be a bit tedious if you're doing an ultra, because you'd have to be shaking your joystick for like 30 hours. I can't think of anything that I'd do that would make a particular interesting game. Nah, I mean, running is pretty much you're trying to get from A to B as quickly as you possibly can, so it wouldn't really make much of a game. If I was into martial arts, then obviously you would say yeah, something like that, but I can't think of anything offhand, Bob. Chasing pigeons. Listen, Bob, I can't think of anything, mate. I'm getting tired, and I know I'm kind of waffling a wee bit. But listen, mate, thanks for your question anyway, buddy. And lastly, failed channel, Hadik and Chaps D. Indeed. The thing about the PlayStation piracy. So I was talking about piracy in a previous waffle. The thing about the PlayStation piracy was not just the cost of the CD burner and blanks, but the sheer size of the downloads around 1997. Two friends at work used to schedule PS1 ISO downloads on the work servers overnight as they were in IT. At home we had 56k modems. That's a 24-hour uninterrupted download from simple links. Still, I remember the cheeky gits who charged 50 quid to chip my PlayStation 1, chucked in 5 copied games, downloaded and burnt at work on office blank CDRs, and then printed out covers on the office colour laser printer. PS1 piracy was nothing like dubbing your mates tape games on Dad's hi-fi. This was large scale serious piracy. It absolutely was. I mean, the piracy in the PlayStation was just mental. I always remember going to the open air market, and you know, it started off, there was just a few stalls, but see, within about a year, everybody in their auntie was selling copied games. And I can understand why they did it. I mean, I've always maintained, I've done a lot of copying in the past, you know. I don't now. I mean, yeah, download ROMs for systems that you can't actually buy games for, but I've never sold a game in my life. It's just something I would not do. But yeah, the PlayStation piracy was just massive, and there's a lot of people do say that they reckon that the piracy in the PlayStation did help to generate sales. You know, it was a massively high seller, and you know, it was probably the pirates that said that, but I'm sure there's a wee bit of truth in that. But anyway, guys, listen, I'm getting mega tired. It's coming up to 53 minutes. I'm going to end this video now. So, listen, thank you very much, as always, for all your support, all your comments. I do read them. I do apologise. I don't reply to them. It sounds arrogant when I say I just don't have the time, but I really don't have the time. I mean, I do struggle to try and kind of get videos put out there. So I think you'd probably prefer I use my time to make videos rather than commenting on videos, commenting on comments. But anyway, guys, listen, you have a wonderful week, and as always, thank you very much for watching.